latest updates.
This thing was piloted by the Prime Minister with the consent of the head of state of this country, because the Prime Minister will not involve in such discussions without running it through the head of state. And then all of a sudden, Canada issues a statement. There is euphoria. Then the hawks in the regime, those who don't want to see things work, those who are trying to flex their muscle, because Leo, don't forget also, this thing goes beyond just what is happening in the southwest and the northwest region. This thing also is power play. Who is in control? I need to cover my territory. I need to show that I'm the one who has power. This is what is happening. So
I mean, it's an announcement is made.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
And the world celebrates it.
Yeah.
And if you read Ayabacho, Lucas, and John Bakuro, they say, we are not comfortable with what you have put out. You need to retract the statement and make correction. Diplomatically, does this not send a wrong signal to one of the parties that one side is already dictating?
No, Leo, I don't think Ayaba was dictating. I think I was not privy to these meetings, but I think also for them insisting that the name should be changed, it's probably what had been agreed in the meetings. You understand? So let us also try to give them benefit of that, and notwithstanding that, for the sake of argument, let's assume that that was not what was agreed. I don't think that the communique from Dr. Choayaba that the language or the name should be changed would pose a problem that government would dissociate themselves with a meeting that they were party. And Mr. Leo, the thing is that there's something we call in law similar fact evidence. Okay, the government has a pattern. I'll just give you an example. Let me take a walk down memory lane. In April 14, 2020, there was a meeting between the Director of External Research, the one they call DJRA, Mr. Eko, and Ayuk Tabe Julius, and other detainees in the Kondengi Central and Principal Prison. The meeting went on successful, and they agreed to have another meeting in 2 weeks. During that meeting, the first meeting, Ayuk gave, I think, 4 points to try to escalate the tension. The meeting was supposed to be held in 2 weeks. Unfortunately, we had the COVID pandemic. The meeting finally held on the 2nd of July. Lasted till 10 p.m. Held in Volier. They took pictures after the meeting. The agreement was supposed to be sent to the Prime Minister for onward transmission to the President. 2nd of July 2020. On the 5th of July, Emmanuel René Sadi issued a statement that government has never or is not negotiating or talking to anybody in jail. That is clearly a pattern. This is the same Emmanuel Sadi who on the 17th of January 2017 outlawed the Cameroon Anglophone Civil Society Consortium that led to this conflict that we have today. So it is a pattern for them, chickening out. It's a pattern for them.
Yeah, but Barrister, you can't say that it is a pattern. What is the clear evidence that government had given its word to moving on with this process?
So I'm just giving you an example of a meeting that the guy of external research, the DJIA, was there, and other people. And the same government said we did not send anybody to talk, or we are not talking to anybody in jail, which is clearly false because they were talking to in jail. This meeting in Canada, the meetings took place thrice: October, November, December, twice in Quebec, and one in Toronto. I can't remember the dates, but I have the dates written somewhere. The people who left this country and went to the meeting, ticket was bought by government. If you get these people and you check their passports, you would see that on these dates they flew to Canada for a meeting. There was an agreement in that discussion. Okay, this thing was piloted by the Prime Minister with the consent of the head of state of this country, because the Prime Minister will not involve in such discussions without running it through the head of state. And then all of a sudden, Canada issues a statement. There is euphoria. Then the hawks in the regime, those who don't want to see things work, those who are trying to flex their muscle, because Leo, don't forget also, this thing goes beyond just what is happening in the southwest and the northwest region. This thing also is power play. Who is in control? I need to cover my territory. I need to show that I'm the one who has power. This is what is happening. So for them today to say they're not in any negotiation is the height of dishonesty. And I would go beyond. It's like the apogee of political, I mean, kind of dishonesty that it flies in the face of logic for them to say they did not, because it's clear.
Maybe some of these initiatives were taken at individual initiatives that did not receive the blessing of the entire government apparatus.
No, Leo, you see, unfortunately, it's not everything that one has to, you understand. But trust me, it had the blessings of the highest individual in this country, who was taking care, who was buying the tickets for those who were going there to have this meeting. It's not an individual, it's the state. It's the state, and the state is aware of. I mean, is the prime minister not part of the state? He's the fourth in command or fifth in command. So if it's involved in something, you know, how would Canada, for example, I mean, Canada foreign minister making a statement like that? Would he make a statement like that when the state did not give consent? I don't know if you read Jeune Afrique today. Jeune Afrique clearly says that there was the president of this country gave his consent. I mean, as far back as 2020. For talks to be held, prayer talks were being held also midwife at times by the UN. It just morphed into this announcement that we had a few days ago. I think also the state has to face its reality. You know, perhaps when the communique came from Canada, it took them by ambush. Perhaps they were still trying to find a way to pass out the message. But for them to categorically deny that they did not give their consent, I don't think that looks good for us as a nation. Also, especially, don't forget, we are setting an example. We are talking about 11 February. We are talking about young people, morality. They have to be upright. But if a state also is seen or is perceived not to be telling the truth, it trickles down to the young people to say, but why are you preaching virtue and practicing vice? That's the way I look at it.